Hi everyone. Let me just turn that volume up a little bit. Hello. Welcome back to this Biggie Smalls tutorial. I'm Darren Carnell. You know that. This is part. Where are we up to? Part 10, and might be the last one. If I'm lucky, and if this works, it could be the last one. Because I've been trying to get this finished for the client. All the other pieces have been, as you can see, very shiny, gloss varnished, but that's the protective layer, then they get matte varnish on top. I will be doing that shortly. The Biggie Smalls head, because everything else was finished apart from the pupils, everything else gets the same protective gloss varnish. And then what that means is while I'm painting the eyes, if I get it wrong, because it's shiny, it's easy to go in with a wet brush and wipe it off and start again. If it's matte and if it's just the actual paint that I've been doing, if you try and do that, that can just stain the paint and you have to start again. So this lets me, essentially this lets me make mistakes as I'm going, and it doesn't mean I have to repaint the entire face to fix them, which is good because I don't want to do that. Okay, I'm going to bring this camera in and we can get on. That might be about there. Let's see. Ooh, close enough. Why is that out of focus? That's even more out of focus than normal. Oh, I must have been showing you something high up last time. Hang on, let me fix that. Boom, there you go. Okay, that'll do. Alright, pull my sleeves up. Let's get the lid off the thing. The what's it called? My brain is not working. Flow enhancer. There you go. Okay, so Biggie Smalls, very, very, very dark eyes. They are not black. Oh, hang on. Let's get me in the corner. They are not black. They are dark brown, but they're so dark brown that they essentially look black. But I'm going to do dark brown eyes. They're actually very similar to the eyes that I painted on the Baby Groot head. Because on the film, everyone just thinks that he's got black eyes. And anytime you see a Baby Groot that someone has made, they've got black eyes. But they're not. There are brown details around the eyes. Just no one ever sees it and puts them on. So it's going to be similar to that. They're going to be very dark brown. They're essentially going to look black, but they will be brown. So I'm just opening up black and chocolate brown and umber. I think that'll do. Okay. What brush to use? I'm going to use this one, very pointy one, very thin one. Alright, I'm just looking at a couple of pictures there to see. Well, this is actually going to be quite difficult because where I normally need to paint, I sort of hold it right up to my face, and that means you can't see it. I'm not sure there's a... Ow! The camera sticks away from the light, so anytime I lean in to see something, I can end up headbutting the camera. I'm trying to think of a way to be able to do this. I'll get the palette away from me so I can lean on the desk there. I'm trying to find a way to do it where the head can be right where you can see it, sort of. I'll change the focus, but I just want to see. So that's there. No, it's too much. There's too much shadow. If I hold it under there, the light causes shadows on the face, and it means I can't really see what I need to be painting. Let's try something different. If I turn that sideways like that, that means I can lean in a bit closer. Now I'm going to end up, if I lean in so close, there you go, there's my face on the bottom. Woo, big glasses. But it means I can lean in like that. Now where's the... That would be under there. That might work a bit. I mean, it's not pointing at the camera like that, but that's impossible to paint with. But if I'm painting like that, that might work a bit. Let me move the focus up a little bit so it's a bit sharper. Okay, that should do. Right, so I normally use light grey when I'm putting down the first layer. I'm actually going to use chocolate brown here. It seems like a weird choice because I'm going to be going over it with umber. Normally I paint the irises in a very, very thin, watered down dark grey. And that lets me put the shape of them down on the eye. And then when I'm happy with that, and then I go over with a darker colour and start marking it in. So I'm just, for now, doing this with a very, I can barely even see it there, watered down chocolate brown. Oh, hang on, my camera is slipping and about to fall off. Silly magnets. Okay, that might work. See, his eyes are in different positions depending on his photos where he's looking, whether he's sort of looking all moody and looking down towards the camera or looking straight ahead. So I'm just trying to figure out where do I want his eyes to be. I want there to be a little gap at the bottom. Okay. And they are... Okay. Difficult. Difficult, difficult. So I'm just putting down a very thin layer to try and get the position right. And one of the reasons why I do the layer of gloss varnish before I do these bits is that I often, I'm just going to turn this towards me a sec so I can see what I'm doing. I often, when I'm doing the eyes, if I think that I'm not happy with them, it's easier to wash off the paint and start again, because it sometimes takes quite a bit of forward and back in order to be happy with it. And if that's the actual paint that I've painted on the eye, then that ends up staining the white eyeball, and usually means I have to go back and repaint the white eyeball, and that's just a pain in the bum. So by glossing the head before I get to that bit means that if I mess up, and with eyes I often do, then I can just go in with a wet brush and wipe it off and start again. might be a lot of me being quiet on here because I'm focusing, and you're trying to paint carefully and you're also trying to see how accurate it looks, and is it in the right place, and does it look good, what do I need to do, and then when you're actually painting, you're sort of doing your best to hold the thing steady and put the brush in the right place and all of that stuff. And it takes up all my brain power, and I don't have a lot of that to start with. And when I'm holding it up away from the camera, I'm just holding it under the light so I can look at it and see what it looks like. Just gonna compare it to a couple of other pictures in my folder. Give me 1 second. I'm just going to hold it under a different light. I think that might be okay. Sometimes hard to tell if something's a bit wonky or if it's... Have you painted them in the right place? Is it the sculpt that's a little bit off? Are they, where you want them to be? Or are they right? And sometimes it's actually quite hard to tell. So I think they're in the right place. I just want to lower them down a little bit. Nope, not happy with that. Okay, I think they're okay. It's sometimes difficult to tell until I get further in, but I think they're alright. He's got quite slopey, wonky eyes, so it's difficult to see, are the pupils like right in the middle, or is it just his eyes that are weird? Okay, so I'm going to go over that with Umber. Should be okay. So I'll do Umber with a little bit of black in it. Probably too much black. A bit more Umber. Okay, got some flow enhancer on there to thin it down. Okay. Ooh, excuse me. I think I need another drink. It can wait. Alright, I've changed to a smaller brush. A little teeny tiny brush there. It's actually a new one, but it's sort of exactly what I want. So that's what the eyes look like. So just brown. Circles painted on for the basic part of the iris, the pupils. Always got them wrong. So I'm going to go over them now with some umber. And if this, the reason why I did the light brown for the bottom, partly because it lets me sort of experiment with the positioning without making too many dark marks on there. It's like a nice easy way to do it. And also, when you go in with your darker main circle on top, having a lighter colour underneath can, if you leave a little bit of that sticking around the edges, that can soften the edges of the circles and make them look a little bit less painted in a weird way. It's probably not the best description of it, but I know what I mean. Bear with me a sec. That's actually quite good. Yeah, having a light colour underneath. I'm just going to rinse this paint off the brush while it's still wet. Having the light colour as your test run, if you want to call it that, your positioning of the pupil. When you go in with a dark colour on top of that, if you do it so that the dark colour is just ever so slightly inside the light colour, what it does, it sort of it smooths out the edges, it feathers the edges of the circle. And what I find is if you paint on, I mean, this is certainly my experience anyway. If I paint on a pure hard circle of the dark colour, unless you get that 100% right, like if you have robotic hands on that day and it's a pure circle and it's perfectly right and it's in exactly the right place, then it can look okay. But most of the time on hand painted pieces, there's going to be something that's just a little, when you're trying to paint a circle on a white eye, a dark circle on a white eye, and those circles are the eyes and the positioning, if they're, you know, a hundredth of a millimeter off in one direction, it looks wrong and weird, and your brain can just tell. Having the edges of the pupils just feathered ever so slightly just helps your eye look at them and go, okay, yeah, they're right. It sort of gives you a little bit of adjustment. And I think it just looks better at this scale. It may not be 100% accurate, although for some people it is. If you look at some people's eyes, their pupils may be sort of light around the edges or something, and so it's not completely inaccurate, but it does, I find it helps. I'm just looking at this again. I always do lots of looking just to double check and triple check and make sure, is it okay, is it right, is it how I want it? Now, I just want to get a little bit of pale flesh. I want to lighten up the... way too much colour there. Oh well. The colour that I'd done the whites of the eyes, which were combinations of the pale flesh colour and grey, and I think I put a brown on it and some pink. I just noticed that on one side is a little bit uneven in the light to dark ratio, so I just want to lighten it up a little bit by putting some pale flesh on the eyeball. Okay, that's okay. Let's see. looking at it under the light, holding it upside down like that, just to let me have another look from a different angle, and sometimes it helps you see if things are not symmetrical or the wrong size, like if one's bigger than the other or something. I actually think that's okay. So what I'm going to do here, I normally gloss the eyes again before I go in to do the black iris circle on there. Because this is so subtle, all the colours are quite similar. The basic colour of the eye and the, you know, it's not that far off black. I'm just going to go in, tiny brush, and I'm basically going to do a quite subtle circle. And it'll give the hint of the iris without standing out too much. Oops, a little bit of the black paint has run off onto his eyeball there. Let me fix that. Just going to get some more of that lighter colour. Put a little bit on the other eyeball. Okay, I'm just going to take some of that black and mix it with the umber. I just want to give him... I want to make his eyelashes stand out a lot. He has got quite dark ones, but I just want to put some more shadow under his eyelid to give more of the impression of some eyelashes. Tell you what, while I've got that on, I might as well add some more shadow to the bottom of his eyebrows. Actually, what I can do, I'll just see one thing I haven't done while I was painting. I will paint some dark colour inside his nostrils, just because that's the thing that I hadn't done. And get paint on his nose, like an idiot. It's getting a bit of leather brown. I just want to put a touch on the tip of his nose, just a tiny bit, because there's a couple of marks where the paint wasn't quite matching up with everything else. I think we may be done. Actually, quite simple eyes on this one. Sometimes I can be painting eyes and pupils. It's been a long few months. I can be painting pupils for a long time, because some colours have greens and browns and yellows and blues and greys and all kinds of colours in. And instead of just going, oh, he's got sort of green eyes and giving them green eyes, I want the eyeballs to look like the eyeballs of the person I'm painting. And that usually means trying to match the colour of the eyes that I'm painting to the person that they're supposed to be. I want them to look right. But in this case, I'm just looking at one of the images, I'm just brightening it up to see what's there. They're actually quite simple eyes. There's a sort of lighter brown edge to them, which matches what I've done. Darker brown middle and the dot, and there's actually not a lot going on there. And because his eyes are they're sort of half shut, they're quite, quite slit. He hasn't got big, like some people have big, wide, expressive eyes. and you can see everything that's going on, and you've got to do a lot with those. His eyes are quite shut, and most of the time he's going to have shades on anyway, so I think that they're okay. I'm just going to use that dark colour to change the shape of the corner of the eye a bit. I actually think they're done. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to clean my brush. I'm going to give everything a final once over. I'll do that off camera because that's going to be boring. I'm just basically going to pick up each piece, look at them in detail, see if there's anything I need changing, see if there's any mistakes that I've missed, see if there's any, I mean, even things like pieces of dust in the air that stick to the piece while it's drying or something. You notice all those things. And if there's anything like that, I will fix it. And I will then... I'll take everything downstairs and I will spray them with... I've actually got it downstairs. Cans of matte varnish to go over everything, give everything a skin appearance, and I will then go in with some hand painted gloss, not like the protective spray, some hand painted gloss, and I will gloss the eyes and see if there's anything needs on the sunglasses, maybe put a little bit of gloss on the rings if they need it. But that's it. We're pretty much done. Before I put this video up, I will take a load of photos and I'll attach them, well, right after this, so you'll get to see the whole thing. But I think that's pretty much it. That was quite good. That was quite a short one. That was 10 episodes I managed to paint that in, which is quick for me. So I will leave you to it. Thanks for watching this. I will give you a load of pictures immediately after when I say goodbye here. And on to the next one. I've got a load of things lined up. I've got some statues that I'm painting, or that I've got to paint, that I will be doing on here. So that'll be interesting, like big pieces that like statues that are this big, like a Clint Eastwood one. How cool is that? I've got a statue of Sark from Tron that I'm giving ultraviolet glow paint to the circuitry. So there's a lot of cool stuff coming. But for now, thanks for watching. Thanks for sticking with me. Let me know in the comments if there's anything you want to see different. I'm here. You can tell me what to do. As long as it's something that I can do. Right. So I hope you. It's going to be way after Christmas when you see this, because it's before Christmas here. I hope you had a good Christmas. I'll have spoken to you before then anyway. I hope you have a brilliant 2017, because you're already in 2017, so I hope it's great. My phone is ringing. Hang on. So I'm going to say goodbye, and I'll speak to you soon. Bye.